My name's Paula and welcome to my knitting podcast. This is the first episode. I'm going to call the knitting podcast Lulabelle H because I need a name. The other knitting podcasts that I watched, they've all got great names, and so I was trying to think what I could call this, and so I came up with Lulabelle H, which is the nickname of my little cat who you can just see behind me sleeping. Her name's actually Meg, but I call her Lulabelle H. Lulabelle. Yeah, my name's Paula. I live south of Edinburgh with my husband and cat, and I've been knitting for over 20 years. I learned to knit in school and then kind of just didn't do anything with it for years and years. And then picked it up again when I lived in London and I wanted to knit a cardigan for my little godson. Baby godson, and yeah, I just once I started, I've just kept on knitting since. So because I have quite a lot of knitting that I've already done, I thought what I'd do is a bit of a retrospective to start with. So today I'm going to be focusing on the Evendoon cardigan. Yeah, by Kate Davies. So that's the Evendoon cardigan there. I've knitted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 finished Evendoon cardigans and 1 in progress. And what I like about, so I really like Kate Davies as a designer for many reasons. I've subscribed to all of her knitting clubs for the last few years. I love the knitting clubs because when she does the knitting clubs, she releases a pattern and usually an accompanying essay in the same week, and so it's kind of exciting to see what the next pattern is. And as a maker, what I really like about Kate is she's really enabling of other makers and others' creativity. So yeah, I really like her as a designer. A couple of years ago I was given some birthday money and decided to buy yarn to make 2 Evendoon cardigans. Quite often when I'm buying yarn now, I just go online and kind of Google DK yarn and then see what comes up, and yeah, so probably my kind of go-to site is Lovecrafts. They do quite a good range, and yeah, so that's probably where I've got actually all of the, apart from one, all of the yarn to knit my Evendoons that I want to show today. So a couple of years ago when it was my birthday, I bought the yarn to make 2 Evendoons, and the first one, so I really like colour as a knitter. I love colour, so all of the Evendoons I've got to show you are all different colours, and I really like, there are 2 podcasters that I really like, and I've just been started watching them recently, and I really love both of them, but they both, it's quite funny because every time they kind of have a new ball of wool to show, it's like off-white, and that kind of makes me laugh. But I mean, they do knit with other colours, but they're quite kind of natural colour knitters, whereas I'm just not like that at all. I'm all about the colour. So the first colour I have to show you, the first Evendoon I knitted is fuchsia. So I didn't used to like pink at all. I've never been a pink girl, and a few years ago I just suddenly really loved the colour pink and really wanted to knit something with it. So this is a King Cole Merino Blend DK fuchsia. It's 100% wool. It's a little bit, I just pulled it out of the wash actually to show you, it's terrible. It's a bit crumpled. So this is fuchsia. I think you can see the colour quite well, and I'll come close and let you see the buttons. Um, yeah, so the buttons are a kind of transparent pink with gold shards going through them. So when I'm choosing colour and when I'm choosing the buttons, I always know when I'm choosing the buttons that I've landed on the right button for the project, and that's really important to me. Part of the fun of making stuff is choosing the buttons. I really love buttons, but it has to be, I can search for ages for buttons. I mean, it takes a while to knit a cardigan, and all that time I can be searching for the perfect button. So I was really pleased when I found these buttons because they're a kind of pink tinge with gold shards. I quite like kind of glittery, sparkly stuff as well. So the way that the Evendoon is constructed is it's a top-down raglan. So you kind of knit to get to the sleeves, put the sleeves onto waste yarn to hold it while you knit the body, and then you come back and you knit the sleeves. And then the only thing to knit at the end is the collar and the button band, which I really love because it's not much fiddling about at the end. The button band it has an I-cord bind off and I-cord buttonhole, which is, now that I've done it a few times, it's probably my favourite way to do a buttonhole. It's really neat. It's quite meditative once you get into it. Once I understood the concept, and yeah, it's just really neat and easy. It's really easy. So this is my fuchsia Evendoon, and I really love it. I wear it a lot. The yarn is hardly pilling at all. It's a little bit under the arms, but kind of considering how often I wear it, it's and I've had it for about 2 years now, so it's doing really well, and I really love it. I really love this pink, and it goes with, I have quite a lot of blue in my wardrobe, so it goes really well with blue. It goes well with a lot of things, but yeah, I love my pink Evendoon. So that's the pink. The next one up is the green. So I do this thing as well, and I'm sure a lot of knitters do, where I call it knitting Tetris. So quite often when I'm knitting, I'll be really enthusiastic about the project that I've started knitting, and then my eye will be caught by another colour of wool or something like that, and obviously I've just got to buy and I've got to start knitting it straight away. So I kind of jettison the previous thing I'm working on. That's why knitters end up with lots of whips, because they're easily seduced by other wool and ideas and garments. So this is my green. It's a really kind of, it's quite a greeny green. Yeah, really like it. I'll come close and show you the buttons. So that's the buttons that I got for it. And again, so they're actually quite unusual buttons for me, because like I say, I really like kind of glitzy, sparkly buttons, and these are actually quite, you know, inconspicuous. That's not the right word. They're quite kind of sedate. That's not the word either. Unassuming. I don't know. I can't quite find the right word today. So they're kind of green, but they've got like a little pink halo around them. And yeah, just, you know, when I'm looking for buttons, you know, because I looked at sparkly green buttons, and they just didn't, none of them seemed right. So, and these ones I just kept going back to, and I kept going back to it, and I thought, yeah, okay, these are the right buttons for the green Evendoon. So the yarn is West Yorkshire Spinners Colour Lab, 100% wool. I actually bought, so they come in 100 gram balls, but I actually only used 3 for this, and they're all knit in size 4. So I only used 3, and which I thought was pretty good. When I knitted this one and the pink one, I was 2 stone heavier, so my body shape changes quite a lot sometimes. And when I finished knitting, so yeah, so I knitted all of the pink and all of the green, and then at the end I just had the collar and the button band to knit, which I quite like. Like I say, I call it knitting Tetris because it feels like they're all kind of lined up, and then I just do a few finishing touches, and suddenly I've got 2 or 3 finished garments, which feels like magic. So I quite like doing knitting Tetris. But yeah, so so yeah, I was 2 stone heavier when I knitted the green and pink, and the fit, I just really love the fit. It feels really, even now that I'm 2 stone lighter, I still quite like the size actually, because it just feels really, well, now it feels like I can kind of wear other stuff underneath more easily and kind of layer up and stuff. But I still just, I don't know, I just feel really comfortable in the cardigan. I love them all. So I kind of felt like when I was heavier, it kind of stretched to accommodate being a bit fatter. And now that I'm not a bit thinner, they still fit really well. And so I really like that versatility about them, because I feel kind of comfortable and feel like it'll accommodate whatever size I happen to be, and that's and it's still really comfortable. So bigger or smaller, I still feel really comfortable wearing it. It feels really comfortable. So that's my green Evendoon. So the next one, so excuse me, well, take a drink of water. So the next one, so I pretty much always, when I'm buying wool, I buy wool. So it's either 100% wool or maybe a wool mix. If I'm making socks, obviously I get sock wool, which has some nylon in it for durability. But so this is a bit of a kind of aberration in my kind of wool buying. This is acrylic. So it was probably, I don't know, a couple of years ago again, must have been. And I was just in a shop one day and I saw this acrylic yarn, and I really liked the colour. And that's why I bought it. And it was really cheap. I think it was like £1 a ball for, so it's like £4 for 400 grams. I think I spent more on the buttons than I did on the yarn. But so I bought it, I knitted it up, and then afterwards I kind of googled what is acrylic, and anyway, it's not very good. So I try not to wash it, because when you wash it, it releases microplastics into the water, which obviously I don't want to do. And actually I say I don't wash it, so it doesn't smell. It's not like I'm wearing it kind of hard wearing and then it gets really smelly and I just go around being smelly. I don't do that at all. But I'm just thinking now that maybe I might try and find a better way. So I do wear it and I really like it actually. I really like the colour. The buttons are kind of yellowy, goldy, sparkly buttons that I got from my local fabric shop near where I work, Edinburgh Fabrics. They have quite a good range. So as a finished garment I really like it, but obviously, you know, now that I know more about acrylic, and it's not, I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't buy acrylic again. So it's really light. When I do wash it, it dries really quickly. It's actually really comfy. It pills terribly, so that's a downside. Meg's on the move. But it's really light. It washes okay. It dries really quickly, and I actually really like the finished garment. It's still warm and snuggly, even though it's kind of light. So yeah, that's my I need to check what I'm actually buying before I buy it lesson in life. So yeah, that's my acrylic Evendoon. Here we go. So the next Evendoon cardigan I have to show. So we're on number 4 of 5 finished. So this is my blue Evendoon. So it's so I'm a really terrible knitter. I'm a very bad knitter. I don't swatch and I don't block. So if any knitters are watching, I can kind of imagine a collective gasp. It's like a complete sin in the knitting world not to swatch or block. I probably should block at least, and I might start swatching. My gauge seems to be kind of true to patterns actually. I've never had, so in 20 years of knitting, I've never had an issue with gauge. So I think I'm not tight, but I'm definitely not loose. I'm kind of tight without strangling the yarn. So somehow I seem to get gauge. Anyway, it's never been a problem for me. So I don't do swatches. So this is my West Yorkshire Spinners Colour Lab Deep Teal. Again, it's 100% wool. It's really lovely. It just feels really cosy. I love the colour. The buttons are Pigeon Wishes painterly buttons, and they're just, you can see, oh, they're just absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely love Pigeon Wishes buttons. They're so beautiful. They're just so beautiful. And I knew that I just had to have these buttons for this cardigan. So the buttons are really expensive. I think, well, are they? I don't know. I think they're £10 for, I think I got 10 buttons. What have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I think I've got one spare, so yeah. £10 for 10 buttons. £1 a button. Anyway, so, but I think they look really great, and yeah, I just love them. I love them. So yeah, so I haven't worn this much. I just finished this a few months ago, and yeah, I haven't worn it very much actually, just because I have so many choices of stuff to wear. So but anyway, it's the same. I've used it. It's the same as the blue wool. Sorry, the green wool. So I expect it to kind of wash and wear really well. So that's fine. So when I made this, I did knitting Tetris again. So I knitted this, and then my eye was drawn by some really lovely kind of earthy brown wool. So I knitted the whole of the cardigan and didn't do the collar or the button band because I really needed to cast on this brown cardigan, which I absolutely love. It's a bit kind of, so everything in my house has cat hair on it. It's just an inevitability about living here. Meg just casts hair everywhere. We brush her, when we stroke her, clouds of fur come off. Anyway, so everything, if you see cat hair on everything, that's why, because we're all just big ginger cats. So this is, I don't know if you can see the colour, it's a kind of chocolatey brown earthy colour, and it really reminds me, partly what I love about it is it really reminds me of a cardigan I had when I was a wee girl. So when I was about 3 or 4, I had a chocolate brown cardigan, and I think I'm kind of wearing it in some photos, and so it just really reminded me of that. Much like the pink, I've never really been even though my colouring, so I've got brown hair, brown eyes, I'm quite, as a kid I used to tan really easily. So my colouring says I should be wearing brown, but I avoided it for a long time. I think So I really like chocolate earthy brown, like deep rich brown like this. I really, really don't like beige. Like beige is just, it shouldn't be allowed. It's just a terrible colour. It's kind of wishy-washy and it's like dishwater. Just don't like it at all. So I love this kind of deep chocolate brown colour. And this is Willow and Lark Heath Solids Earth Shade. So this is 70% wool and 30% acrylic. So interestingly, I thought this was 100% wool until I was getting the information ready to record this podcast, and because other podcasters I watch kind of talk about the yarn composition that they're using, I thought I'd do the same. So I thought this was 100% wool and it's actually got 30% acrylic in it. But it's really lovely. It just feels it's a really kind of bouncy yarn, really squishy. It's really nice. So like I say, I haven't worn it much because I finished it. So I did the blue and then I did this, and then together I did my knitting Tetris. I did the neckband and the button band. And then the buttons, if you can see the buttons, it's not great actually. I don't know if you can see. So the buttons I made the buttons myself. So I kind of, because of the price of the Pigeon Wishes buttons, I thought, so I basically think I can make everything myself. So I thought, I wonder how you make Pigeon Wishes buttons. So I went kind of Googling and came across this kit that you can buy, epoxy resin button making kit. I should have got the little template out for the buttons. So you can buy like I think it's the silicone mould to make buttons, and so I basically got a kit off the internet. I think it was something like £30. So you get epoxy resin, you get a little UV lamp, and I bought a mould with all different sizes of buttons. And basically you just, and it had, so the kit came with colours and tons of glitter. So to make these, I basically just designed and made them myself. I mixed the colour, so I mixed red and blue to get this brown, and then I dropped some gold glitter into the resin and some gold leaf, mixed it all up and then poured it into the mould. So they're all kind of slightly different, but you get a kind of glittery effect and gold leaf on all of them. And yeah, so I was kind of, I was really excited when I discovered the button making kit, because I thought I can now design and make all of my own buttons, and so I think I will for some projects, but I think I'll still buy buttons obviously, because I like buttons and I don't want them all to be the same. So yeah, so this is my brown Evendoon, and I really love it. It's really cosy. I haven't worn it much, but I will. So yeah, that's my brown Evendoon. Love it. So that brings me on to, just gonna have a drink, my work in progress Evendoon. I feel like I should move my water so that you can see how beautiful Meg is, because she's just absolutely gorgeous. Right, so my work in progress Evendoon. Oh, I forgot to get the buttons. Okay. So this Evendoon was inspired by, and I don't know where they are actually, they're somewhere. This Evendoon was inspired by some really gorgeous buttons that I found first. So sometimes when I kind of, like I said, I've got a fabric shop near where I work, and they have a button selection. So sometimes if I just want to go and look at something really nice, at lunchtime I go and stand in the fabric shop and look at different things, quite often the buttons. And if I see buttons that I really like, I just buy them, because I think at some point I might find the right project for them, and sometimes I do. So I find these, the colour, the button colour is actually quite really close to the yarn colour, but they're a kind of mossy, yellowy, it's not green, but a kind of mossy yellow. Really lovely. When I do I'll kind of bring out the finished garment in another episode and show you. But they're really beautiful. So I bought them first. I think I bought about 10 of them, 10 of those buttons. And then very soon after, I probably went looking for yarn to go with them, and I found this. So this is Viking yarn, Alpaca Storm. Again, I got it from Lovecrafts. So this is 40% alpaca, 40% merino and 20% nylon, but it's really soft. It's so soft and squishy. They're all DK, by the way. I'm not sure if I said that. The Evendoon is DK cardigan. It's just really soft and it's really lovely to work with. So I'll try and hold it up without losing. So yeah, so you can kind of see the construction. So you start at the top, separate from the sleeves, and then just knit, back and forward. My husband and I watch TV before we go to bed. We try and watch comedy, and I like to be productive when I'm watching TV, so that's when I do my kind of easy knitting. So this is just back and forward stockinette stitch, and yeah, it's it kind of, once you get past, do you know, even doing the initial setting up for the raglan, it's kind of really easy. It's really easy. The whole thing's really easy to knit. It kind of knits itself, which is another reason I like the pattern. So yeah, this is going to be my kind of mossy yellow alpaca Evendoon. So I started this a while ago, and I've kind of put it on hold because being a knitter, tempted by other projects, of course. So I kind of, I'm still knitting it, but just, it's not moving as fast as it should, because I'm currently knitting other things. So I think I've got about 3 whips on the go at the minute. All different ones are petite knit, Stockholm slipover, Stockholm slipover, which is really nice. Anyway, I shouldn't kind of go on to talk about that. Ones are also petite knit Sophie scarf. That's another story as well. And what's the third thing I'm knitting? There's something else. Can't remember. Just about to cast on. I'm kind of on a bit of a big petite knit kind of craze at the minute. So I think the third thing is I've got yarn to Wilton knit a Rigmore tee. Anyway, that's another story. So that's my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My 6th Evendoon cardigan. So as you can see, they're all different colours: pink, green, rust, blue, brown, yellow. I love colour. And what I thought I'd do is, so for all of the projects I have some leftover yarn, some more than others. So what I thought I'd do is buy some kind of like a base colour, like maybe oatmeal, and then kind of stripe in my leftover yarn. So just I'll kind of coordinate the colours. It just won't be a kind of random gradation. I'll put them next to each other and decide what goes where. But I might put I'll do the. What I was planning to do was do the collar and the button band in oatmeal, and maybe with a kind of a thin oatmeal stripe, and then kind of do thicker stripes of the leftover wool from other projects, and then that way I kind of get a whole cardigan for nothing really. So that's my plan, but that's a kind of future date because I've got lots of other things that I want to knit, and I am knitting and stuff like that. So that's the Evendoon cardigans. So yeah, I hope that was interesting. I don't know. I love my Evendoon cardigans. So I was hoping to get through a whole recording without hitting, there's a maximum recording time, so I need to figure out, so I'm really enthusiastic about doing the podcast, and I'm kind of hoping to keep the technical side of it as limited as possible. We have video editing software my husband has on his computer, so I was hoping to do a bit, but not, anyway, there's a limit on the recording time, and I don't know why, but I'll find out for the next episode so that I don't have to do much editing. But anyway, I helped to edit one of his music videos, and I really loved it. So I actually really like editing. It's just getting access to the computer and software and doing it. But once I do, I'll probably love it. So anyway, so that's oh, Meg just snored. She's snoring. She's so cute. She's so cute. So yeah, so that's the first episode, and the next episode. The next episode is, I thought I'd do actually another cardigan. So my favourite, anyway, that's for another episode. Another favourite cardigan that I used to have. Before I discovered the Evendoon, my favourite cardigan to knit was the chickadee, and I think I have about five or six chickadees. Got yeah, really nice colours. Actually, all knitted in the same yarn apart from the last one. So I think I've got teal, cherry, charcoal, dark blue, purple, and then a kind of yellow. So all the first five are knitted in, I think it's Wendy Ramsdale DK, and then the last one is knitted in something else. But anyway, that's for the next episode. I'll take you through that. So that's pretty much it for this episode. In my knitting blog, I used to kind of incorporate a few other things, so I thought so I really like reading, so I might do kind of mini life, what's happening. The main thing that's happening at the minute is we have lots of baby birds in the garden, and they're very cute, so we kind of have a bird feeding station anyway, but at the minute we're kind of filling up. We usually fill it up like once a day, and that's fine. At the minute we're kind of filling up twice or thrice a day, and all the babies are coming. Yesterday we had a baby woodpecker, which was so cute. So woodpeckers, when they first appear, the babies, they have the whole top of their head is red, bright red, and when they mature, you can tell if they're male or female because the males have, so they have like a kind of bright red undercarriage, male and female, but the males have a kind of red, so the red head darkens, but the males then have a red kind of chunk on the back of their head, and the females don't. But the babies, I think last year we got 2 woodpecker babies. I've only seen one this year, but the poor dad has just been non-stop at the bird feeder. He's run ragged trying to feed his family. So that's the bird update. And so I thought this is the book that I just finished, No Country for Old Men. It's the first time I've read Cormac McCarthy, and I absolutely loved it. It's just really, I really like that you get dropped right into the action straight away in the jeopardy. So straight away he's kind of dropped into jeopardy. The Coen brothers made a film about this, which I'd really like to watch again. I haven't watched it. I watched it probably over 20 years ago, and I'd really like to watch it again after reading the book. I couldn't really remember because I've watched a few Coen brothers films, and the Coen brothers, I've kind of seen them be interviewed, and they say that they like, what they like is to put their character into a bad situation and then make it get progressively worse. So, which kind of sums this up as well. So it's about a guy, so kind of starts off, I thought the protagonist was a hunter who out hunting one day comes across a kind of car scene in the desert that's obviously gone wrong. There are dead men everywhere. Apart from one, there's one in the cab who's still alive but fatally injured but still alive. And so he finds I think it's something like $2 million in a suitcase. So he takes the cash and goes home, and then he makes a decision to return to the scene, and it's something to do with, I actually can't remember. So he goes back because of the guy that's still alive, and I can't remember if he's going back because he wants to put the guy out of his misery by killing him, or to kill him to silence him, the fact that he's seen the injured guy seen him. Anyway, he knows when he's leaving his home that he knows it's a fatal mistake, but he still goes. Anyway, so it's basically about him, and then the guy that it actually turns out, who actually turns out to be the main protagonist, who's a sheriff, I think. And it's him kind of commenting on what's unfolding in front of him, and he tries to kind of contain and improve the situation, but it's when people are on that trajectory of there's no stopping them, or there's no saving them from themselves. So it's him trying to kind of contain and improve the situation, and him kind of reflecting on his life's work and kind of philosophizing on people's motivation in general, behaviour in general. And then it's the third kind of character in the book is the guy who's been hired to chase the guy who's stolen the money and retrieve the money. So it kind of, the story kind of, they all dovetail into each other, so you follow one character for a while, then another, and they're all kind of progressing the story forward, and it's just, is he gonna escape the guy who's pursuing him? Is the sheriff gonna catch and stop what's happening? It's just a really great, it's just, as a narrative, it's constantly kind of driving forward. And I read it really quickly because I just loved it so much. So that's No Country for Old Men, what I was reading. And I've just started reading Will Dean, Dark Pines. I think it was his first book. So Will Dean is a very interesting person. He is an English writer who lives in the Swedish woods. So he built himself a writing shed, big writing shed, and he's lucky enough, I'm very envious of Will Dean because he's lucky enough to spend his whole days reading and writing, and in a wood. He's got like this really lovely big dog called Bernie. I think he's a St. Bernard, but I mean the dog is like bigger than anybody, and also a huge cat. I can't remember the cat's name, but yeah. So I've just started this. I'm not much into it, but yeah, I'm very envious of Will Dean's life. So that's all from me today. I'll probably record again, I don't know, in a couple of weeks' time. I don't know how often I'll do it actually. Doing the kind of retrospective won't take long because I already have a body of knitting to show. I actually kind of listed what I can group together, and I think I've got about 10 episodes worth of podcasting to do. So anyway, I'll see. And then after that, then I'll kind of probably do what most podcasters do, which is talk about what I'm actually knitting and working on, and yeah, there we go. So if you've got this far, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again. Okay, bye bye.